Welcome to the Women in Digital Dentistry podcast, where we empower through innovation. I'm Allison Lacusier, your host, and each week we'll explore the mindset and the skill set of creating a successful practice and life for women in business. From the latest in dental technology to mastering marketing strategies, creating team synergy, cultivating a powerful money mindset, this podcast is your resource to empower yourself and your team to have the most success possible. Whether you're an established business professional or just beginning your journey, we're here to help you unlock your full potential, lead with confidence, and have an incredible journey along the way. Welcome to the Women in Digital Dentistry podcast. Welcome to another episode of Women in Digital Dentistry. I am here with the incredible Debora Carrier. Welcome to our show.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited to have you and to share with my audience how you and I first got connected. And it was me doing the fashion show at Do last year and wearing the cutest scrubs that you designed and getting to see all of the adorable, gorgeous, beautiful, empowering outfits that you create for women in our industry. So can you just share how this came to be, that you have become a designer and you're a model? I just want to hear the story again.
Well, it's a long story, but I'll make it as quick as I can. So my background is I've been a dental hygienist forever. And when I was in dental hygiene school, I was the treasurer of my class and we had to do a fundraiser. So I chose to do a fashion show and I coordinated with a local mall, did the fashion show, got discovered while I was in the fashion show, and I started a modeling career at the same time. So while I was a baby hygienist and doing modeling at the same time. So then fast forward a few decades, I was driving home from work one day when I was working full-time as a hygienist, and I was thinking about how much time I spent battling the thermostat with the dental assistant. And by the time I got home, I was like, I am going to invent temperature regulating uniforms and lab coats. And so that's what I did. I did my research, I got patents. And as I was on this journey, I realized that there wasn't a uniform company who thought about our needs in dentistry. And they're very different than what the needs are in medicine, because they look at scrubs more as throwaway items. And we don't have to do that in dentistry. So with my fashion background and my love of clothing, I was like, well, I am going to make these more fitted, more stylish, out of nicer fabrics. I mean, why do we have to go to work in our frumpy scrubs that look like pajamas when we can go to work looking like a high fashion model? So that's what I did.
Oh my gosh, I love it. That's so cool. And I wore your scrubs and they were so comfy. Like I struggled when I was a dental assistant, like trying to look cute, trying to look like myself. And I think that's something that we sometimes like underestimate or just don't really think about or talk about enough as women, where it's like when we feel good, whatever that good is for us, we operate at a different level. And I think that's really important that we kind of elevate ourselves in any role that we're in because it makes a big difference for us. What would you
Oh,
say?
it's a huge difference. And there's science behind, when you dress well and you look good, you carry yourself different, you act differently. And I kind of learned that in my career as a hygienist, every position that I was ever in, I walked in as usually the youngest and the most inexperienced in whatever, job I was in. And I quickly rose to the top. And it wasn't because I was a much better hygienist than anybody else, but I was dressing the part. I was dressing professionally. My patients recognized it. All of a sudden, everybody in the office wanted to be on my schedule. My bosses recognized it. And my peers treated me differently because of the way I looked and I carried myself. And there's a lot of also science behind the whole white coat thing, too. As time has gone on, we used to, like dress up to get on an airplane and, people dress down a lot now and more for comfort, and for comfort is fine, but you still don't have to like look like you're in your pajamas all the time.
Yeah. 100%. Since the first day I started my company, it was during the pandemic, like 2020. And every single day to show up for my work, I dressed up. I put on lipstick. Did my hair, whatever it was. And it wasn't because I felt like I had to or because I felt an expectation. It was because it made me feel good. It made me feel like a CEO. And I was just a new business owner starting my company. But when I dressed up, I was like, I'm a CEO. I have a very important and professional job. And that's exactly how, like, the energy that I brought forward.
Right.
And so it matters. It matters so much.
The first time I was around you, I don't even remember how we met, but I remember seeing you and I'm thinking, that's somebody I need to meet just because of, the way you were dressed. I knew nothing about you, just the way you were dressed and the way you carried yourself. I was like, she's somebody important. I got to meet her.
Thank you. I love fashion. And something that I love to talk about is the interplay of being feminine and being a absolute badass, successful business owner. And I think what I want to do is kind of break the lid off of what it means to be a woman in business. And I remember a CEO of a very successful company came to me one time and he said, he's like, I want you to take this the right way, but I just love how feminine you dress. And I was like I didn't really know what he meant at the time. He's like, you are so authentically yourself. You're professional, but you're also exactly how I think you want to dress. And I can see that. And I just want to acknowledge you for that. And like later on, I really realized what he meant by that. And I think sometimes as women, we put ourselves into these like, I must wear this or I must look this way in order to be taken seriously, in order to be respected. And there's always a level of like what's appropriate, what's not. But I feel like often we put ourselves in these boxes of like, this is what I should do rather than like this is authentically me.
Right. And it is important to say who you are. Your patients will respect that a lot, and so will your team. And there's so many more female dentists now that I think that is such a thing that needs to be brought to the forefront of get out of those baggy lab coats and dress the way you feel good, and you will carry yourself differently, and it sends a message to everyone. And I also think that with female, there's so many females in dentistry, and now that there's a lot more female dentists, we tend to be more caring than males do. And so saying, hey, I'm a strong female, but I'm still going to take care of you. I just think that's a very important message that we all need to get behind.
I love it. I love it so much. And I love the mission that you have in order to empower women to do that. If I was asking, I'm like, okay, I'm inspired. I want to elevate my appearance at work, in life. What would you say would be some of those strategies or the ways that we could go down that route of like elevating the way that we dress, elevating the way that we show up?
There are a lot of guidelines, but they're all pretty simple, really. And it starts with just looking at yourself in the mirror. I have this thing that I teach people that when you're getting ready to leave for work, stop for a minute and look at yourself in the mirror and really stare at yourself and say, would I want this dental professional working on me? Do I trust her? Do I have confidence in her? Does she look like a good dental professional? And if the answer is yes, then I can walk out the door. If it's not, we go back and try it again. But no, I'm kidding. But there are very simple things that you can do. Number one, you need to learn your body. Okay. We all have different body shapes, and there's different ways to dress for those body shapes. And what I see when I go into a lot of these offices is people are wearing things that don't fit them right, whether they're too big or they're too small. Okay. So you need to really like look at that. And if you buy things that don't fit you just right, make friends with a good seamstress. My seamstress is literally just down the street from me, and you don't have to invest a ton of money in your clothing. If it fits right, it looks like $1,000,000. And then other things that are so easy, but we forget about on a day-to-day basis is just making sure that your hair looks good and, that your makeup is not overly done, and just simple things like that that make you look polished, but not too put together. And shoes are a big one. All your patients look at your shoes, and even when you're out in public, people look at your shoes, and that tells it does, they don't have to be expensive shoes, but they just have to be shoes that are taken care of.
100%. Oh my gosh. And I so feel this. Like when I'm wearing something that I feel fabulous in, I feel it in the way that I show up in everything.
Sure.
So it matters. It absolutely matters. If you could give women kind of the encouragement or just like anything that would you would say is kind of like the mindset shift in order to like invest in this part of their life, what would you say?
Wow. There's so many things I have to say on that, but I would say that everybody is a gift and everybody has different gifts to give. And you need to really embrace those gifts and exude those gifts and put them out into the universe. And just know what you're here for and what you have to give this world and own it. Own it and walk proud and keep your head up and dress like it.
I love that so much. I love that so much. Okay, we're gonna make sure that we put your uniforms in our show notes so that people can find out more about you, learn more about you. But I want to shift gears for a minute because you and I had a really interesting conversation. We were at ADOM together. And like so many women in our industry who are multifaceted, who are entrepreneurs, who have incredible skill sets, you are one of those women that I just think of first when I think of that kind of woman. And you have developed something for the practices to be able to make it easier for them to do something that we have to do no matter what every couple of years. And so please explain that conversation that we've had because I think this is really valuable to this community.
So I am a born problem solver, since that's why I developed temperature regulating uniforms. But I've also had a company for over 20 years where I teach CPR and first aid. And thanks to COVID, this is a good thing that came from COVID, is I'm now allowed to teach CPR virtually. And I started that about 4 years ago. And it's a really, I won't go into all the details now, but it's a really cool concept the way we do it. And it is still considered live and in person because it's everything is Zoom and you're live with me. And we do all the instruction and then we send the kit to you. So you will have the kit in your home or in your office. And what's wonderful about this is several things. It's number one, it's super convenient and you can do it on your time. And the other thing is most people get nervous when they have to do their CPR recertification. And what we've been finding is that you get this kit and you can work with that mannequin for a week before you get on my schedule to do your checkoff. So, and we send a video so you can practice along with it too. So you just feel more confident with your skills and you get to have more time because in a traditional CPR class, everybody stays after work. You know, the instructor comes in, throws the mannequins on the floor, and sometimes people don't even get a chance to touch the mannequin or touch the AED trainer. So the testimonials we've been getting are people are learning so much better this way, which when I started this, I really had no idea if that was going to happen or not. But what happens is you actually end up getting more one-on-one time with me as an instructor than you do in a traditional class. And most importantly, we're saving more lives this way.
Love that so much. Oh my gosh. As an office manager, I remember trying to like wrangle my team and find the time, which was every 2 months on a Thursday. We could only book it. And so it was like, it was a nightmare. So when you talk about this, I'm like, honestly, this is a no-brainer. So we'll definitely put in the show notes here, this solution that you brought to the industry. And I would just love to hear too, like, you have done so much in your career and in your life that has taken a lot of courage. Like it takes courage to be a model. It takes courage to start an innovation, to start multiple innovations. And I just see you as someone similarly when I first just saw you, you were someone who just like has this beautiful presence. What has given you the courage to chase all of your dreams, to support our industry in this beautiful way and just to be who you are?
Well, believe it or not, and Allison, you've heard my story, but I was the quietest person in my high school. And I just well, I had several things. I had a lot of strong people in my life that helped to encourage me and give me the self-confidence. But once I got to the end of my high school career and the beginning of college, I just realized I looked around and I knew what I had inside of me, but nobody knew it because I wasn't talking to anybody. And I finally just had the courage enough to push myself a little bit and talk a little bit and then push myself a little bit more. And like when I went on this interview for my first modeling job, of course, I was terrified. But I got up there and I did it, and I got the call back right away. And what I can say with every step of the way of everything that I've ever done, did I feel confident when I started it? No, absolutely not. I always felt like I was jumping into the deep end of the pool and I didn't know how to swim. But what I can learned is I talk to everybody. I ask questions constantly. I'm constantly trying to learn more and connecting people, because connecting people, you just never know who knows who and who's going to help who. And that's how I grew to be the confident person that I am, just asking questions.
Oh my gosh. I love that you said like, I work with a lot of women who are like, they're like, I'm not ready. I don't know how to do this. I've never done this before. But two things that you said that really stuck out for me was one, you've always been in rooms where you were the youngest or the least experienced. Good. Because that means that they have brought you up to that level. Like we adapt so much by being in the community and the surroundings of greatness, of great people. So it's such a beautiful skill. And I similarly have done the same thing. But two, it's like, it's always just start before you're ready. Start when
Yep.
you want, start when you desire, start when you have a passion, and you will figure it out. Like maybe you jump in, you can't swim, but you're going to learn how to swim pretty quickly.
Exactly. It's never the right time. You never have enough money. I mentor a lot of people and I'm like, just find your passion. They're like, I don't know what my passion is. Well, then, okay, then just put yourself out there and one day it's going to just fall out of the sky and it's going to light you on fire. And when you have passion, the whole world sees that in you and then you're unstoppable.
So true. Oh my gosh. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and sharing your gifts with the world. I just admire you and adore you so much. And I hope I can do the bend and snap on your runway again sometime soon because it was so much fun. And it was just such a fun experience to be a part of that. And so would love to also invite all of the ladies that are listening to the Do Retreat. Do you have the dates for the Do Retreat? I know that you're
Do retreat is November 13th to the 15th. I believe that's correct. It's in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Ballantine Resort. And we're expecting 250 incredible women this year. We will be doing a fashion show again. And there's some amazing speakers on the docket. So if you can make it happen because it is definitely the place to be.
I love it so much. And that is where I got to meet you and spend time with you 2 years ago almost. And so I highly recommend coming and follow Deb, go and learn about some of the solutions that she's brought from the industry. And just thank you so much for sharing your wisdom on women in digital dentistry.
Well, thank you. You know, I feel the same way about you, so I'm honored to be here.
I love it. Ladies, we will see you on the next episode. If this episode resonated with you, if it was helpful, please go and share it with your network because as women, we all rise together. So we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Women in Digital Dentistry. We hope you found today's discussion inspiring and full of actionable insights to help you thrive in your practice and beyond. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to subscribe so you never miss an update. And if you know someone who would benefit from these conversations, please share this podcast with them. We would love to hear your thoughts and feedback, so feel free to leave us a review or connect with us on social media. Together, we are building a powerful community of women leading the way in digital dentistry. Until next time, keep innovating, keep growing, and keep making a difference in the world of dentistry. Thanks for listening.